Hello and welcome back to Oversteer Auto Reviews. Here I have this 2021 Mercedes Benz GLB250 4MATIC to review courtesy of Mercedes Benz of Seattle. This really isn't that bad of a vehicle, and today I will show you why. Without further ado, let's break this vehicle down and complete a review. Up front on the GLB, I do like the design language used over here. Somewhat boxy but still a bit round. The bottom portion features this gloss black splitter, which is included in the AMG Night package. This also has the AMG appearance group, which does give us this pinstripe grille instead of just the cross spoke one. I do like this a lot better, but the Panamericana used in the GLB35 is definitely my favorite on the vehicle. Alongside that, you do have this opening, which does allow air to go into the intercooler to feed the engine. The sides of it are blocked off, and they will be opened if you do get a GLB35, or in the future if there is a GLB45. I'm sure if that's going to come, but it might. Now above that, you do have this huge Mercedes-Benz star emblem, and underneath that you do get this front view camera. It is actually quite helpful, and I'll show you that when I do move on to the interior. This paint option right here is Cardinal Red Metallic and is a $450 paint option if you are inclined to get the vehicle with this paint. The sides do feature more fake vents, really nothing more to complain. It's seen all across the vehicles, especially in the United States. These headlights are quite nice. You have these dual strip daytime running LED lights, and those also do double as the turn signals. And then inside those you do have the high beams. Mercedes-Benz does do very well with their head and tail lights, and I think that this is a nice refresh, especially on a new model. Underneath the hood on the 2021 Mercedes-Benz GLB250, you will find the 2-liter direct injection turbocharged inline 4-cylinder, which does produce 221 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. Those numbers, with the aid of the all-wheel drive 4MATIC drivetrain and the 8-speed automatic twin-clutch transmission, will get the vehicle to 60 in just 6.9 seconds. Really isn't too bad, considering the fact that it is a 4-cylinder moving a 7-seater SUV. If you do desire more power, you can upgrade to the GLB35, which uses the same engine, just modified by Mercedes to make 302 horsepower and 293 pound-feet of torque. By the front fender, you will see these 5-spoke AMG wheels with the gloss black accents, because this does have the AMG Night package. I will show you more of those gloss black features along the car as well. You do have these Continental tires as well. These are 235 millimeters in width and 19 inches in diameter. The front fender doesn't have any significant body lines, but we do have this plastic front fender flare. I wish it was body colored just to make it feel a bit more upscale, but that is not seen. You also have a pass-through vent to channel air from the front all the way alongside the rest of the car for improved aerodynamics. At the side of the GLB, we do have some key features, quite literally key features, because I will be talking about keyless go. That is a feature where you have your key in your pocket. The vehicle is currently locked. I want to get in, but don't want to hassle with my pockets to get the keys out. So all I have to do is stick my hand into the handle. The vehicle unlocks. Now I'm able to open the door. Now with this door open, you can see the piano black lining, which is included in the AMG Night package. Now if I did want to leave and I did not want to take my keys out of my pocket again, all I have to do is press the sensor on the door handle, the mirrors fold back in, and the vehicle locks to your convenience. We do have a somewhat minor body line running from the front all the way into the rear. It does fade out a bit, and then the rear window does have this slightly curved design to it, which is similar to the GLS design language. The bottom portion does have this matte black piece, which does allow the fender flares to flow a bit better. Now, a lot of people say that this is a mini G-Wagon, which I actually kind of disagree with. I believe that this is more of a GLC GLS mix with a slightly boxier side profile from the G-Wagon. The top of the GLB also does feature these roof racks, which you can actually add extensions to if you did desire to do so. This is a utility vehicle after all, so you should have the ability to use it as a utility vehicle. Another feature on the GLB involves this key. More specifically, it has to do with these windows. Say it's a hot day outside and you want to aerate your cabin before you get into the vehicle. All you have to do is simply hold the unlock button, and all of the windows along with the sunroof shall open for your convenience of having a nice cool cabin by the time you're inside. And if you did want to close the windows, same thing, except hold the lock button. Very nice and simple. Fuel economy in the GLB really isn't too bad, 23 in the city and 31 on the freeway. Here we are at the rear of the GLB, and the first thing that I pointed out at the rear about the vehicle are these taillights, which are taken straight off of a GLS. As you can see right there, literally identical to what we have here. Aside from that, this is pretty refreshed. I do say that the lower portion, aside from the exhaust tips, does look like the GLC, and it's pretty much just a mixture of Mercedes Benz SUVs combined into one. Now, I do have air quotes when I said exhaust pipes because, well, the actual exhaust is quite far behind, and it's actually only on this left side. We do not have an exhaust pipe on the right side at all. We do have this chrome piece running over here to protect your cardinal red metallic paint. Now, when I do open the trunk, or tailgate I should say, you do have a third row in this vehicle, which is an $850 option. And if you absolutely need it and have passengers that will be in here that are under 5'6", then go for it, I guess. But otherwise, I would not recommend you to have this third row. I will show you why in a bit. Now, in order to do our trunk test, I will fit myself in. Keep in mind that with the third row up, this failed miserably with the trunk test. Somewhat small, this is smaller than the GLC in terms of trunk space, but it does still pass. Aside from that, you do have this under storage cubby, which does host your tonneau cover to block things from view, which is always good. Most cars are incorporating this into their tailgate areas, which I do like quite a bit. You also have a nice little health kit. Let me show you how to put these seats up. In order to get the third row up, it is not that hard of a process, but I will show you anyways. You pull this latch right over here, and once you do that, it disengages the lock, and using the other strap, you can pull the seat up. Again, really self-explanatory. Unlatch, pull, simple two-step process, and now you can see nothing. There's no space in here. I could go to Walmart, grab some groceries, and I'd still have to unfold this thing right here. Onto the third row. Now for the part which I have dreaded for this entire time, getting into the third row. Now this is also a process. First, you click this, and then you slide the entire seat forward. Now this is as far as these seats will go, and this is like 4 inches worth of clearance you get to be able to get into the third row. And now I will do so. Watching your head, if you are somewhat tall, climb in very carefully. Stick your feet in as well. And now you have made it into the third row. Now for demonstration purposes, I will move it backwards, and now I am entrapped in this small confined area. Sitting upright, my head is touching the ceiling at 5'11". If I did have these seats any backwards, my feet would get crushed along with my legs and knees. Seat comfort really isn't too bad. These seats are padded relatively well on the bottom portion. The back headrest is touching my back, but that is because it is not fully extended upwards, intended for a passenger back here. In terms of amenities, we have literally nothing except 2 cubbies on either side, not even a single light back here. This is definitely not intended for tall people or adults, so keep in mind if you are planning to buy this vehicle with a third row. Let's move on to this second row. At the rear of the GLB, I really can't say I can complain about it because it's really not that bad. On the door right over here, you have this Dynamica with red stitching along with this MB-Tex material. This is soft touch on the upper and hard touch plastic on the lower. You do have a relatively large cubby, and you do have this plastic metal look door handle right over here with a plastic window button. I do like the fact that you do have lock and unlock buttons on the rear doors. In terms of seat comfort, I can say that this does have a very upright feeling position, and you can recline these chairs, but please don't if you have people in the third row. Knee room really isn't too bad, about 4 to 5 inches. Foot room could be a bit better, and headroom really isn't that bad, especially with this panoramic sunroof, which is blocked by this B-pillar strut bar over here. In terms of amenities, you do have 2 vents and a 115 volt home style outlet with 2 USB-C ports as well. Overall, I'd say this is not a bad second row, considering the fact that this does have 3 rows and a small wheelbase. Really not that bad of a second row. Let's go up to the front and I'll show you all of the features up there. At the driver's side on the GLB, you can see more of that same design language from the rear doors incorporated into the front, except we get this nice carbon pattern weave up here. This is some of the better carbon fiber I've seen from Mercedes Benz, let alone any other car manufacturer in the interior, considering that it's not an additional payment option. Same large cubby up front, but we do have this tailgate opening button right over here, along with all of the mirror and side view mirror controls as well. Seat comfort really isn't too bad. I like how nice and supportive the lumbar support is, and then these seats do move forwards and backwards, and the backrest does move forward and backwards with 3 memory settings as well. You do have thigh support, again that is manually adjustable by a little latch on the front of the seat. Let me take you onto the interior and show you a more in-depth view, along with the camera system that I do like quite a bit about the car. This vehicle also does have somewhat of a panoramic sunroof. I do have all of the windows down currently, but there is also a sunshade, which when you do press down on the sunroof button, it does close all of them at once. And then once you do pull it back to open the sunroof, everything does open quite nicely. And it's all automated as well. Just one click shall do the trick. Now on the interior on the GLB, it's pretty much just an A-Class but widened. You do have the same trim as on the door panels right over here, along with more of that aluminum finished plastic piece right over there. You have 3 air vents, and when I do start the vehicle, you can see the MBUX system start up, and this right screen can be either controlled by this little sensor over here or this trackpad right over here. You also do have this regular gauge. This is not an AMG, so we do not get any of the super sport gauges, but the ones that we do get are actually pretty nice. As you can see right there, Mercedes Benz does do a good job with their infotainment system. Now, if you are looking for a very in-depth review about this infotainment system, I have done a review of it with the A-Class and GLC as well, so you can take a look at those. I will link those in this video. But there was a few options I did like quite a bit, and that is regarding the vehicle. The first is in regards to DSR, which is downhill speed regulation, and as you can see, that is set. You can change it with the cruise control button on the left side of the steering wheel. It defaults at 4 miles per hour. What this does is when there is a steep decline, you can actually set this and the car will pretty much just cruise control itself, which is always a nice option. The other feature is regarding the basic themes of this vehicle. If you do go down on the trackpad, you can see there are multiple different themes. Now, this is an adventure-based vehicle with a G-Wagon imprinted on the infotainment screen. Once you do click on that, the camera settings pop up along with these off-road oriented displays. Over here, this is the advanced camera system that I do like quite a bit. This is currently the front view camera. Once I do click this option, the cameras from the side view mirrors also pop up, giving you a very nice almost 180 degree view. You also have the parking button. Once you do put the vehicle into drive, you can see the area surrounding the vehicle along with other obstructions you may have. You also have the 360-degree surround view camera with the front cameras and rear cameras all in one, with an overhead view as well. Your basic rear view camera along with your rear 180-degree view. This is quite an advanced system, and I do like it quite a bit. I think Mercedes-Benz is definitely advancing themselves in terms of their camera systems. Aside from that, pretty much the same interior as the CLA I reviewed or the A-Class, more of that basic trackpad. You can change your drive modes. With this, you do have an off-road mode, eco mode, comfort mode, sport mode, and an individual setting. The individual setting can also be reached with this star button right over here. This is pretty much just a rest for you to use when you are operating the trackpad. And in the center, just a regular center console. I like how pretty simple and easy to use this entire interior really is, and I think Mercedes-Benz always has been doing a good job with that. Now, without further ado, let's take this vehicle on a drive, and I'll give you my impressions of it on the road. Here we are driving the 2021 GLB 250. Ride comfort, I'd say, is pretty good, not too rough on the bumps. Rebound stiffness is really good. Overall comfort with the suspension is really good. As you can see over that bump over there, didn't really feel too much in the cabin. Road noise isn't too bad either. These wheels really aren't too wide, meaning that road noise isn't heavily apparent inside the cabin. Wind noise is definitely apparent because this is not very aerodynamic, but that's a given based on the shape of the vehicle. Engine noise is only very heavily apparent when you are significantly on the throttle. We do not do that over here, so that is not a problem. You probably don't need to heavily accelerate anyways because engine power does feel really good. Going into the turn, you at first think that you have to significantly brake in order to make the turn, but that is not the case. The all-wheel drive system does work very well, and it gives you a bit more confidence in the corners at speed. In a bit, we will see the turning radius of the vehicle, which is pretty wide in my opinion, and as well as that, you get a 0 to 35 acceleration from a standstill. The first competitor is the 2021 Audi Q3 Quattro Sportback, and in my opinion, I believe the GLB does outperform this vehicle. The GLB does have a higher base price, but that's not too significant, only about $2,000 or so. The Q3 does not feature any third row seating, and from the exterior, it's not very aesthetically pleasing in my eyes. Next up is the 2021 Porsche Macan Base. From the exterior, it does look a lot better than the GLB. It's more elegant, more posed. This does have an $14,000 higher base price premium than the GLB, but that's given with the Porsche badge. There is no third row seating in the Macan either. The last competitor is the 2021 Land Rover Discovery Sport. This has a $4,000 higher base premium, and it does not look as good as the GLB from the exterior, again in my opinion. Interior does have a third row, and it might be a better suit for you based on how much luxury you really want in your really small sized SUV. And that is the complete review on the 2021 GLB250. And in my opinion, I think it's really not that bad of a vehicle. Would I get it for myself at a sticker price of $50,000 with options? No, I would actually get a GLC because in my opinion, I do not need the third row. So based on what you would need, if you do need a third row and do not have enough space or a budget for a GLE or GLS, then this could be a good option. Now, if you do not need a third row, then definitely do consider a GLC. That is a bit easier on your budget and also does look a bit better in my opinion. Overall, the vehicle does perform well on the road as well. You may think that the engine is a bit underpowered, but this is not a performance vehicle, so you do not need a lot of power to get to where you are going. In terms of looks, really, again, not that bad. The GLC is a bit nicer. It's more elegant in my opinion, as a Mercedes Benz vehicle should be. Interior, pretty much just an A-class interior. It's been widened out to fit the GLB, but it does have very good finishes, and the carbon fiber did impress me a bit. That is all for today. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to keep on driving.